We can assume they are residential inmates. They could be live-in hotel waiters, workers, or lodgers. They are not related to the head. They have access to at least one bath. They are female and they are 88 years old. They are unrelated to the male or female head of the household, who is an 8-year-old. They are widowed and they are in the bath. They have heated up the water and poured it in to 3 to 4 bathtubs each. They varied the temperature in each one so they can rush between them, keeping their body temperature at exactly widowhood. They each have a theme tune for when running from one bath to another. She is called From Now On, and she is called Once This Is Over. The 8-year-old householder rings her bell. Where are you? I'm having a she bath. Correction, you are having access to a she bath. From now on, she is 19 and fantasizing. Once this is over, she is going to be 19 and in a spotless living room alone. From now on, the bathroom will be spotless. A window is open somewhere. From now on, leaned out of the bathtub and let her head hang towards the floor. Once this is over, held her hand. From now on, unasked for a pen and wrote her idea for a play. Once this is over, went in and out of the door. She felt 19 with a fork poking out of her heart into the bathroom. She felt 59 with one knee when it became leaner, then the other, and then the arc of her stride was real. From now on, it's having a bath. Once this is over, it's having access to a bath. I sat on the stairs. A tune came to my mind, so I hummed it. I tried to make my tune completely different, like a total one-off, which was difficult with no musical understanding, or was it easier? I wondered if it was possible to hum a tune based only on what you didn't want it to sound like. Yes, it was. It felt good to make a sound with my body that wasn't talking or shouting, so I parted my lips and let the shapes out of a wordless song. This must be how anthems begin. It felt good to make my anthem to a tune that I'd invented, so I made it louder with some arm gestures. My hand accidentally banged the wall and I worried the neighbours would think I was harassing them, but it felt good, so I deliberately banged the wall as part of the song, harder and getting harder to go with my passionate anthem. I was insisting something inside myself, looking for something like a spirit that knows how to move and sing, to find a way to contend with the racket of other people in the house. I stamped my feet. The wallpaper was the colour of cheese with daisies on it. I had not noticed the daisies before, only now I was slapping the wall continuously did I see the pattern. My nail caught on a little tear and I made it worse, giving the daisies the look of patient yet acceptance. Anguish, as if they knew the tear was going to carry on getting worse, getting caught on people's bags and furniture. After a while of gazing directly at the daisies, they started to appear more like hunched figures being reprimanded by the same institutional power, being ordered to march across a field to nowhere. Some were humming my anthem solemnly, some not. I carried on, staring at the daisies, wanting more from them. As I looked at the little figures, I saw a long queue of teenage girls. The teenage girls were in single file, in a line that led out of the door of a ground floor flat, each girl with a white towel around her neck. They were queuing outside the door to a ground floor flat, waiting to have their hair washed by the house mother. The house mother was a volunteer who lived in the flat. She was going to shampoo each of them one by the side of her bath. The girls getting shampooed squinted their eyes and spat soapy water back out of their mouths, saying, "Bother." House mother was brisk but efficient and made not one of them feel more or less cared about than they needed to feel in that moment, cleansed, normalized, touched and ready for bed. At the back of the queue, a small squabble broke out and two adult men in sandals rushed over and roughly restrained the fighting girls by pinning their arms behind their backs. The girls cried out in pain but carried on trying to kick each other. The men restraining them looked unsure all of a sudden. Everyone went still and it soon became obvious the girls could be let go of and could sort it out for themselves. Why are we physically restraining girls? The men seemed to ask endlessly. That's not our philosophy at all. The men smiled at each other and wandered off discussing anti-psychology. I watched the line that once reached all the way around the block get shorter and shorter as wetted and washed girls marched out into the evening and back to their dormitories for TV hour. My song was in its conclusion phase. There is one single male who is 19 years old who has had his bath in Switzerland and is now in the parish, where he has access to a he bath on schedules. He poured tap water into a glass and drank some, poured the rest into the bathtub. They have available to them either a cat or a van. This makes him red hot with joy. A living doubt, aren't you? What is your occupation? I flow and I wince. But what do you do? Well, I've only done one so far. What was it? A kids' workshop. But I was so nervous. I need to get back into it. Maybe phone the library and let them know I'm available. It was fine, really. It was okay. I was just so nervous. Well, yeah. I was completely frozen for a week before and constantly rushing to the toilet, and I was shaking. I couldn't sleep for days. When I did sleep a tiny bit, I had nightmares about doing the workshop all morning. Before I left the house, I couldn't eat or speak. Ginny, she nodded at me, tried to get me to have breakfast, but I couldn't. I just couldn't eat. I hadn't eaten for days, so I was weak and I was thinking strange things. I was so nervous. I locked myself in the bathroom, but Ginny, she nodded at me, broke down. And I had to be forced out of the house by a neighbour, she nodded at me. The taxi driver tried to calm me down, but I couldn't stop weeping with fear. Then, when I got there, all the children were just staring at me and it got worse. I was silent, I was frozen stiff. The children's parents were off in a corner chatting and not even helping. Well, that's when I got really nervous. My plan was laid out on a small table in blue paper. I tried to breathe and I approached the table with my plan on it. I followed the plan, but I forgot to tell the children what to do. So I made myself a hat from the paper. It took about an hour, and I could hear a moaning sound. It was me. When I finished my hat, I wrote a thought word, and I stuck my thought word onto the hat, put it on, and looked up. The children were watching me. Then I realised they hadn't made hats because I hadn't told them to. I wrote the thought word because I hadn't told them to. Then I panicked and I screamed at them. Then I spilled some paint, so the workshop plan went out the window. Oh no, what did you do? I think it was okay. I think it was fine. We made up a song about curfews, so in the end, I think it went really well. And that's what you want to do forever. Sometimes I don't know. You need to get over the fear. We all do. She sighed and brushed the crumbs off the bed. Maybe it's not really what you want to do at all and you should just stop trying. I felt someone should say it in case no one ever would. She looked at the two people sat on the bed she was lying in and suddenly it was like we were her parents. It's all I can think of. I don't want to be a teacher. I hate being asked things. You could always practice on us. That still makes me nervous. Or puppets, I suggested. That's worse. She laughed and lay back onto the bed. What do? I wait for things to happen. I go with the flow. Like everyone on this bed, in this bathroom, I try so hard to have a different life to the one presented to me, and in the meantime I wear myself out. Maybe we all sighed and chewed. It went quiet between us. God, help us. There is sympathy between bathrooms. There is social cohesion. You left, but you left some air. It will be nice when you touch me with your cold, wet hand again. The bathroom is a domestic court, like an uprising of liquids, a hard interchange between body and home. You lead your organs into the bathroom, and in there you conduct the maddest stare at yourself. Your body bears the strangest part of the outer world. You have access to a bath. We're in here. There was some knocking. She had a bicycle helmet and a tasseled bag. A light sheen of evening sweat on her upper lip. She looked at us. Hi. What happened to you? She just so happened to be on her knees. She cursed the night in various ways. What a night, what a night. She felt terrible, she'd done something. I can't believe what I've done. She put the bag down. A little light was still flashing on her helmet, on her bag, or on her. What's happened? What's wrong? Look at me. I have no idea what to do. I have no idea what just happened. I feel awful. I don't know what came over me. I've never done anything like it. I felt like it would be a joke, but now I should hide, or no, I won't say. Tell us. I can't. Sit on the bed. No, she's not sick. She's just in bed already. She's got all her clothes on. It's fine. None of us really know each other. No, we're not even friends. You're the friend. We won't ask you any more questions. Would you like us to run you a bath? She breathed in and out and put a hand over her eyes before she blurted out, I stole a play. For a year, she had been trying to get close to a girl she liked. But the girl she liked hadn't taken any notice of her. One day she got an email saying 2 tickets for the Thor of the bathroom, with her surname sparkling somewhere in the unread text. But the email wasn't from the girl who she liked, it was from her mum. This was a strange turnaround. To be asked out by someone's mother was new, not unheard of, but new. She considered it and she wrote, love this kind of theatre, would love to come, thank you. The play was about variables. One had wings and was occasionally furious with the other. The play was unfinished and read from scripts, or maybe it was supposed to be like that. The point of it was to be like an ordinary duty to language, like it was saying we're all being reprimanded for and by what we say all the time, so why not read from a script? The script itself said something about never knowing what to do next, something about childhood and a big piano slipping away. It said, God, help us. The performers were supposed to be inside a room that was inside someone's head, having a bathroom. One of the performers looked like Caravaggio. Both performers said their lines with a crafted snark. Something about their gestures or actions, expressions or tone matched the actual words. The words were coming from somewhere else, impossible to grasp from the back of reason. The script was speaking, and they were speaking. The performers acted if the words fueled their charisma, but that's not what fueled their charisma. They had a script. Their mouths opened hardly at all to begin with, and as the play went on a lot until they didn't close their mouths at all, when they finished, they threw the scripts at each other and left the stage. She jumped off her seat and stole the play, then escaped the theatre and ran out, leaving the mum of the girl she liked waiting. When I came back from the bathroom, there was someone called By Chance, named so after the way they started every sentence. By chance, did you see if there's anyone in the bathroom? Yes, there is. By chance, is there any more wine? Yes, there is, thank you. The toilet flushed and before long came out and sat to join By Chance. By Chance and Before Long lived together. How did you meet? By chance, we were getting the same train home. Before long, we couldn't go a day without speaking to each other. By chance, both of our conspiracy theories were way off, so we stayed together for another year. Before long, the garden provided everything we needed to survive. By chance, we are the same blood type. Before long, our life variables equalized. Did you? By chance, I did. Before long. Did you? By chance, I did. Before long. She leaned against the side of the bath and sunk to the floor, her bike light still flashing somewhere on her. Oh, it's nice to sit down, you know. We agreed. She made a delirious sound. I can't believe you did that. She laughed madly with her head in her hand, saying, I know. The oxygen in the room was being eaten away.